just ahead on CTV News.
Maryland lawmakers head back to Annapolis for the start of the new legislative session. I'm Katira Jones. I'll have all those details coming up on CTV News.
And the County Council discusses housing, economic development, and the state of the county at its annual retreat. Plus, find out how PGCTV has topped the state in reducing teacher vacancies. These stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for January 15th. I'm Michaela Newton.
And I'm Jonathan Hunter. Thanks for joining us.
Leading our top news tonight, for about the next 90 days, Maryland lawmakers will be busy in Annapolis working to balance the budget and passing important legislation.
CTV's Katira Jones is standing by in the studio with a recap of everything from yesterday's first day of the session.
The first day of the 2026 legislative session kicked off with its traditional pomp and circumstance. The Maryland Senate and House sworn in its speakers and picked its Senate and House leadership team. All eyes were on Delegate Jocelyn Pena-Melnick as she became the new House Speaker and the first ever Afro-Latina to hold the job. Senator Bill Ferguson of Baltimore City returned as Senate President and enters his 7th year as the leader of the chamber. Both chambers started the first day of the 90-day session off strong with reading the first batch of bills. 231 bills coming from the Senate, 301 from the House. The General Assembly will be tackling a whole host of issues. The major one, the billion-dollar budget deficit, as well as the state's affordability crisis, like rising housing costs and increases in utility and health care bills. The state's budget issues also come at a time where Governor Wes Moore says he wants to invest more money in public education and public safety. Maryland Republicans, who are in the minority in both the House and Senate, wants the state to pull back on spending, particularly for the blueprint for Maryland's future, and to halt raises for state employees.
We do have to look at what we're spending, and we're going to have to crack down on some things. We're going to be making some tough decisions, but I know that we're going to be able to do it under the leadership of our new speaker, Jocelyn Pena-Melnick, as well as with our governor.
The last day of the session is set for April 13th. Continue to stay tuned to CTV News as we continue to follow the legislative movements in Annapolis. Katira Jones, CTV News.
Thanks, Katira, for that story. This legislative session also marks the governor's final session of his first term.
Meanwhile, as the 2026 Maryland General Assembly gets underway, Attorney General Anthony Brown is laying out his priorities for the session, focused on protecting Marylanders and enforcing state law as federal protections weaken and the state faces a major budget shortfall. Brown says his office will back legislation tied to justice reform, public safety, consumer protection, environmental safeguards, and civil rights. Brown points to a year of legal action that's brought millions of dollars back to Maryland, setting the tone for what he calls a critical legislative year ahead.
Meantime, an advocacy group wants Maryland lawmakers to prioritize building more solar energy and lowering utility bills. The group, Chesapeake Climate Action Network, rallied outside the State House yesterday. The organization wants lawmakers to pass the Affordable Solar Act of 2026. If passed, the measure would make reforms to the state's current renewable energy credit program.
This important piece of legislation meets the triple threat that Marylanders are facing right now, which is rollbacks from the federal administration, high utility bills that they're literally holding in their hands, wondering how they're going to pay, and then last but not least, the escalating climate crisis.
And state lawmakers say if the bill is passed, Maryland would be able to add 4,000 megawatts for solar 2025. As we start the new year, the Prince George's County Council is putting together their legislative priorities. This also comes at a time where the council is looking at a major budget deficit. At the hotel at College Park, the council rolled up their sleeves and got to work for their two-day retreat. They first talked about the economic challenges the county is facing. County Executive Brave Boy says for fiscal year 2026, the county was looking at a $170 million deficit. But for fiscal year 2027, the projected deficit has gone down to $58 million.
We have made, again, some strategic decisions about reducing our costs that have led to greater efficiencies in government, and we will continue to look for those.
Brave Boy says her top funding priorities this year include public education, which receives more than 60% of the funding from the county budget, and public safety.
We want to continue to see crime go down and also increase our forces, whether it's police, fire, or sheriffs.
The council also spoke to economic leaders on a panel about what they can do to spur economic development in the county. Some on the council say they would like to see more restaurants and even another banquet hall.
What's the destination for Prince George's County? What are we known for? I think that's one of the things we heard today. Also focusing on how do we build the industries where we know we're at a deficit.
Council Chair Crystal Oriata is committed to making sure families have access to affordable child care, while also making sure county services run smoothly. And while the county is still facing a budget shortfall, she remains optimistic.
We've already seen over a 50% cut in the deficit projection. I think that if we couple that with really aggressive strategies around bringing revenue to the county, that we can get into a positive place.
And the county council retreat resumes tomorrow morning, where they will continue to outline their goals for the year ahead.
When Immigration and Customs Enforcement make an arrest in Maryland, the process doesn't stop there. People picked up by ICE are first taken to a processing site, often in Baltimore or Salisbury, where they're booked and entered into the federal system. From there, many are transferred to long-term detention facilities, sometimes hundreds of miles where they were arrested. Advocates say that distance can make it harder for families to find their loved ones and for attorneys to provide legal help as detainees wait for their next immigration court hearing. And President Donald Trump is threatening to cut federal funding to states home to sanctuary cities starting February 1st. He's calling these policies a public safety risk, but many Democrats are minimizing the move, saying it's likely to be blocked in court again. Cities like Portland, New York, and others that limit local cooperation with federal immigration enforcement have already challenged similar efforts on legal grounds, and leaders say they'll fight for any funding cuts again if necessary.
Federal employees and unions are in a fight to get their collective bargaining rights back. That fight started Wednesday afternoon in front of the U.S. Capitol, where a rally was held to push for a Senate companion bill, which has been pushed for the last several weeks by federal unions. If passed, the bill would restore collective bargaining for an estimated 2/3 of the federal workforce. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Coming up, under new leadership, the county school district has seen major improvements in reducing teacher vacancies.
After the break, we're joined by interim PGCPS's superintendent, Dr. Sean Joseph, to discuss this year's budget and priorities. Stay with us.
From the beginning, America has depended on the courage and resilience of those who serve in our armed forces. For 250 years, they've been there for us without fail, putting their lives on the line, defending our freedom, helping us become the nation we are today. At Wounded Warrior Project, our mission honors the past by building a better future for post-9/11 veterans, service members, and their families. Our life-changing programs and services help warriors improve their mental and physical health, access the VA benefits they've earned, and connect with their communities, their purpose, and each other. Warriors have given us their best. Join us in supporting them through the next 250 years of strength, resilience, and recovery. Visit woundedwarriorproject.org/USA.
Once upon a time, there was a special green and blue marble. It floated in space. If you looked closely, you could see all kinds of curious creatures and happy people like you and me.
The marble gave them everything they needed to survive, and more. Crisp air to breathe, fresh water to drink, tasty food to fill their bellies, and crucial medicines to keep them healthy. For a while, the people felt peace, and the marble fed their souls.
But as time passed, things started to change. All life there came under pressure. Nature needed their help. And they realized they needed nature too. So they partnered with the sun, the wind, the land, and the water to restore the marble that had always sustained them.
Is that the end of the story?
Not at all. Just the beginning.
Welcome back. In a press conference this afternoon, Prince George's County Public Schools announced they've cut its total teacher vacancies by 52%. Across the region, districts continue to face teacher shortages, but the school system cites a more efficient recruitment process and competitive salary increases, putting more teachers in classrooms.
We have about 22,000 employees in our district. About 10,000 of them are educators. We're poised to hire approximately 1,000 this year. We are giving out early contracts to people who want to be teachers, meaning you know what your salary is. You may not know where you work, but you work for Prince George's County Public Schools. And if you are a student intern leaving or someone leaving college, you can say to your families, I will have benefits for the coming year.
And today, PGCPS announced the opening day of their recruitment efforts.
And joining us now to discuss more about the teacher vacancies and the school district's budget is the interim superintendent, Dr. Sean Joseph.
Dr. Joseph, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so in that press conference earlier this afternoon, you all mentioned that you're starting the recruitment process about 2 months earlier, and that's really as early as you guys have done it before.
Yes.
So is that something that you say that you've been able to cut those teacher vacancies by that 52%?
Well, no, we cut vacancies, I think, because we've improved salaries dramatically, and we put a push on ensuring that vacancies that had just been pervasively there, that there was an urgency to get them filled. And I think we also benefited from the federal workers shortage. Many people began transitioning and being interested in getting conditional licenses to come in and work with us. But it's been a lot of hard work, and we're going to work harder and smarter to make sure all of our classes are filled with qualified candidates.
Yeah.
And there definitely are some challenges ahead, and we know that the Prince George's County Public Schools has a $150 million deficit. So first off, just how did we get here?
Yes. Well, we got here a multitude of reasons. One, 2 years ago, we had a telecommunications tax that was dedicated for education, and that was about $64 million that we would get above the minimum. When the legislation was passed to allow that funding source to be a part of the minimum, and instead of being in addition to the minimum, $64 million needed to be made up for us over the past 2 years. So we started pulling from our savings account to fill those gaps. Then, as we reduced our vacancies by 52%, we budget for vacancies. So the good news is we filled positions. The bad news is it shoots the projections off as you're filling in a budget. And that's something that, most big budgets do. So that's not an uncommon practice. Third, we had our union contracts that closed. And so that put $102 million giving those 3% raises across the board. And again, our employees deserve those raises. We need them to compete in the region. But it's $102 million now that you must address. In speaking with County Executive Brave Boy and in speaking with our board president, Brandon Jackson, when I started, the big charge for me was we need to reduce our ask by tightening our belt. it's just like in any family. When you know things are getting tight, you got to tighten up. So we looked for efficiencies within the district. We worked, to cut vacant positions and things of that nature, and we've reduced that budget. So we're going to be asking for $50 million, which is a modest increase. It's the smallest increase of all local counties around us.
And I want to ask you, what are your top immediate budget priorities, as well as what are you committed to protecting from budget cuts?
Yes, absolutely. Number one is special education. My request is going to have about $30 million in special education improvements. As a system, we've got to do right by our neediest students. And special education was an issue as I entered the district. I've heard families talk about our special education needs, and we want to put a budget forth that addresses those needs. In addition, we want to focus on reading and mathematics. We want to continue to recruit and retain top talent, so keeping a competitive salary. And we also want to get students prepared with AI literacy. We've got to teach students how to use AI appropriately and effectively, as well as teach teachers how to use it effectively. So that'll be a big push for us as we move into next year. And then, of course, finally, safety and security. We've got to make sure our kids remain safe and our staff remain safe in our buildings. So again, for all of that, it's a very modest request, but it's needed to continue to move us forward. So I'm calling this a stabilization budget. I'm just trying to get us back to where we were 2 years ago before the tax situation shifted and we no longer received the telecommunications tax.
And what role do you think the Maryland General Assembly will play, especially with the legislative session just starting yesterday?
Yes. Well, I'm hoping we continue the commitment to fund the blueprint. That's really important for us because 58% of our budget comes from the state. 33% of our budget comes from the county government. So the county government gives us approximately $970 million. And so of our $2.9 billion budget. So that's really important that the state funding remains strong because it's the largest portion of our budget.
And lastly, I do want to ask, the State of the Schools address is next week. What message do you plan on sending to parents and students?
Yes, next week, I want all parents to tune in. To it. You can watch it live streamed. And the message is we're moving forward as a district. We will not be defined by cuts. We have our key accelerants, like I just mentioned, and we are confident that if we receive the funding request that we've asked for, we can accelerate performance in Prince George's County Public Schools.
All right, Dr. Joseph, I thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
You can hear more from Dr. Joseph at the 2026 State of the Schools Address taking place on Tuesday, January 20th at Suitland High School.
The reception will be from 5 to 45 p.m. and the address goes from 6 to 7 p.m. It will be live streamed on the PGCPS's YouTube page. And still to come on CTV News.
We're halfway through January, and if you need help setting fitness goals, listen up.
In January, people flood to the gyms to get gym memberships due to New Year's resolutions. I'm Anaya Falcon. Coming up, I'll share with you how you can turn your gym goals into long-term accomplishments.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing to keep us focused. A habit we never skip. To clear our minds and elevate our performance. But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Maybe you surround yourself with positivity. Or you need to center yourself. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
All right, bring out the heavier winter coats because we are in for a drop in temperatures this weekend. Frigid air moved into our area last night, plunging temperatures to the upper 20s. Wind gusts tonight will be as high as 26 miles per hour. The day you want to look out for is Saturday. There's a chance of rain and snow before 1 in the afternoon. This may cause hazardous driving conditions, so please slow down in the snow.
Prince George's County Police have arrested a man in connection with 2 armed robberies in Bowie. His weapon of choice, an umbrella, believe it or not. According to police, the first robbery happened Tuesday night at a convenience store on the 3500 block of Crane Highway. An undisclosed amount of money was taken from the register. The same suspect is said to have robbed another nearby convenience store. Detectives found the car they believed was used in the robberies at Bowie Town Center and arrested the driver yesterday. The investigation is still ongoing.
Nonprofit Prince George's County hosted its 4th breakfast with Tiffany this morning. The organization is known for advocating for nonprofits and people who live in the county. Maryland State Treasurer Derek Davis was in attendance, sharing his vision for the new year and how he wants to continue helping organizations in the state.
Nonprofits play a critical role, not only in Prince George's County, but in the state of Maryland. They fill gaps where the government falls just a little bit short or just doesn't quite have the expertise, quite honestly. They do a lot for the citizens of Maryland, and it's incumbent upon me and other elected officials to support them as they support our constituents. Budgets are tight. I'm not going to, say otherwise, but to the extent that we can financially support them, because for every dollar we give them, they give back infinitely more in terms of services and assistance. So that's a smart investment, and I want us to continue to do that.
Reportedly, January is the busiest month for gyms and gym memberships, largely due to New Year's resolutions.
CTV's Anaya Falcon is at Bowie Fit Body Boot Camp and shares how you can turn those New Year's fitness goals into long-term gains.
For many, a new year means new goals. And at the top of that list is getting fit and feeling healthier.
My goal for this year is to decrease my fat percentage, because my legs, I went on a cruise a couple of weeks ago and I was like, boy, I hate my legs, I got too much fat.
Goals like these that help make January the Super Bowl of gym season, with new memberships making up about 12% of annual signups.
January is a time for reset. This is when we see a lot of people coming in. They're not necessarily chasing weight loss, they're chasing a fresh beginning, confidence, and just doing something that brings them joy and empowers them.
All right, guys, looking good. But just like a workout, the excitement doesn't always last. By March, gym attendance drops by 30%, and 6 months in, that number can fall by as much as 50%.
And the owner here says you don't have to be a part of that drop-off, and that staying consistent is the real heavy lift.
I think we kind of get overwhelmed with the New Year's resolutions. I just recommend to keep it simple. Set realistic goals, right? Make it attainable, something you're chasing progress, not perfection. Then set a plan. Make a resolution to put yourself on the schedule. And then lastly, we believe in community.
A community that 60-year-old Judy Swiner says saved her life.
I had a doctor's appointment and my doctor told me if you don't get your diabetes in control, it's not, bad things can happen.
A scare that made her motivation to start working out much more urgent than a New Year's resolution. Since she joined Bowie Fit Body Boot Camp in 2019, Swiner has lost 30 pounds. Her fellow gym member Ronald Lathern says, for him, accomplishing his fitness goals was more important than waiting for a date on the calendar.
Too many of us men have heart attacks, diabetes and all that. This, high blood pressure, this helps. Your health matters. Your family needs you, so it's important to come and work out and exercise and stay alive. This, for me, this place keeps me alive.
In Bowie, I'm Anaya Falcon. CTV News.
And for more information on this gym or to book a session, visit fitbodybootcamp.com.
All right, Jonathan, I don't know about you, but at the beginning of this year, my goals were to be in the gym a little bit more often. But like Anaya said, I'm definitely kind of exiting the gym at this point. So what were your New Year's resolutions?
Honestly, I don't really set New Year's resolutions because I never keep them, but going to the gym, working out is definitely a good thing. And I saw Anaya, she was really getting it in the gym.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, she was doing her thing.
She was. All right, we'll stay right there because Simon Buggs is next with our Thursday sports page.
That's right, and I hear he's talking high school hoops. What's crack-a-lackin', Simon?
What's up, sports fans? Don't move because I have a quick preview for you on some high school basketball games taking place tonight, and a football player makes his return to College Park. Find out who's coming back after the break. Don't go anywhere.
What if protecting penguins could help us save pumas? I'm National Geographic explorer Pablo Garcia Borboroglu, and that's exactly what I do. Penguins are a keystone species. When we protect them, we save so many other animals in the sea and on land. National Geographic Society celebrates all of its global explorers who are inspiring us to protect marine species like penguins.
All right, sports fans, for our first story, we go to the world of high school hoops as there'll be a ton of action on the hardwood tonight. Beginning with the girls, the Gwynn Park Lady Yellow Jackets will face off versus Oxon Hill. Friendly will be in Laurel tonight for an exciting matchup versus CMIT North. Next, we have the Eleanor Roosevelt Lady Raiders taking on the Lady Rams in Siouxland. And finally, it will be a clash of the Cats as the Northwestern Lady Wildcats will face off versus the Parkdale Lady Panthers. Switching gears to the boys, Duval will host Bladensburg. Wives look to put on a show for their home crowd in their game against Flowers. The defending state champs in Largo will return to action against College Park Academy. And finally, the Bulldogs and Spartans will battle it out to try and get another win. Man, we got a packed slate of games tonight, y'all. Be sure to tune in tomorrow because I have some highlights waiting for you. Meanwhile, a familiar face will be rejoining the Terps football team next season as tight end Preston Howard is coming back to College Park. The rising senior played for Auburn last season, only recording 10 catches for 84 yards during his time with the Tigers. Howard is the second player to rejoin head coach Mike Loxley's squad, the first being defensive tackle LaVon Johnson. And sticking with news from the gridiron, the Howard University football team has found their next head football coach in Ted White. White, who played quarterback for the Bison from 1995 to 98, is one of the most decorated players in the school's history. And he returns to the nation's capital with over 2 decades of college and professional coaching experience. White spoke yesterday and he touched on what his goals are for the program.
This is a full circle for me. As I aspire my vision for Howard football, our program would be built on one simple, powerful philosophy. Win 360. Win at every angle. Win academically, win as a student athlete, win professionally, win personally. Winning in character, leadership, and accountability. We're not just developing football players. We're developing a complete man that will leave Howard and prepared to win in life.
The Bison finished this past season at 5-7. And wrapping up sports, the Washington Commanders have filled their QB coach vacancy with the hiring of DJ Williams. Williams is the son of Commanders legend Doug Williams. Before joining the Burgundy and Gold, Williams served as a quarterback coach and offensive assistant for the Atlanta Falcons and New Orleans Saints. This hiring comes after former QB coach David Blau was promoted to offensive coordinator. Definitely eager to see who they tap to fill that defensive coordinator position. And that wraps up today's sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. Now for a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear out. Tomorrow it's going to be mostly sunny. It'll be 38 degrees. Saturday it'll be 46 degrees, but we have a chance of snow before 10 a.m. Sunday we have a chance of snow and rain between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. We'll have a high of 32 and a low of 19.
And for our community calendar, let your teens start off the new year with some fun and new friends. Tomorrow night, Parks and Recreation is hosting a youth black and white party. Teens ages 13 to 17 will get a chance to walk the red carpet, show off some dance moves, and flick it up with a photo booth. This event takes place from 7 to 9:30 p.m. at the North Brentwood Community Center. For more information, call 301-864-0756.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.